thought I'd lost you there. Welcome back to the Here and Now. We've got a new set, so that's pretty entertaining and engaging. Oh yeah, look, we've even got a brand new green screen picture frame, and we can make it into whatever we want. Watch this. Wow, you guys are really stuck in the past, huh? Well, if it makes you feel any better, you're not alone. Nostalgia. I've talked about it a few times on this channel. We all experience it. We all have that love-hate relationship with it. It makes us feel warm and fuzzy, but it also makes us feel like we're getting ever more distant from a simpler time. This feeling is normal when you get older. You miss what it felt like to be young. You miss when it was a simpler time, and you just miss having less on your mind. I get it. I'd rather not know what Skibbity Ohio Riz is either. I'm never saying that again on camera. You would think that that would mean that the amount of nostalgia you have would be directly related to how old you are. And normally, you'd be right. But in the last decade, there's been a surge in the amount of nostalgia in younger generations. Millennials, Gen Z, and even Gen Alpha are already nostalgic. Some are even nostalgic for generations that they never even lived in. So how can this be? I have 3 theories, and they're all kind of connected. To take a look at our first one, we're gonna have to go back to the year
2000.
The first half of my childhood took place in the 2000s. During this decade, an insane amount of innovation happened. Windows XP, Blu-ray, Facebook, YouTube, the iPhone, the Wii, the DS, and of course, the greatest invention of all time. Heelys. Fun fact, actually, when I was younger, I was the only person in my friend group that had never broken any bones. I was actually kind of jealous of that. I wanted to have a cool story to go with this injury, and I wanted people to sign my cast. Well, finally, my time came when I fractured my elbow. It was a hairline fracture, but you know, it's still kind of cool, right? And I guess I did that by heelying down my neighbor's driveway as fast as I could, and then my wheel caught the curb and I just kind of face planted forward. And I didn't even get a cast. I just had a sling. So anyway, a lot happened in the 2000s, and it really didn't slow down in the 2010s either. In fact, it doesn't seem like it's slowing down in the 2020s. If anything, it's still speeding up. This is our first culprit in the rise of nostalgia. Our technological increase has been exponential, and with the advent and cultivation of the internet, we get to see every little thing that's going on around the world at all times. There are also more games, who am I kidding? Podcasts, TV shows, movies, and products being released than there ever have been. And it's really a lot. It makes a month feel like a year, and a year feel like 5. We feel like we're moving at the speed of sound, so our nostalgia accelerates too. 2 years, that feels like it's lifetimes away. For younger generations, this makes it feel like they've lived through so much, and I mean, they have. They definitely have. I'd even venture to say that some of these younger generations have lived through more current events than a lot of people have in their whole lives. Just think about all the things that have happened in the last 10 to 15 years. So this brings us to our second theory. I don't know if you've really noticed this, but the consensus seems to be that everything around the world kinda sucks right now. With the global economy declining, healthcare failings, the degradation of social media, and the effect that that's had on our psyches, the world has seen hard times as of late. I wrote that healthcare thing before recent events. Just a disclaimer here. Research shows that in times of struggle, people turn to the warm comfort of nostalgia. We seek to escape to a time that felt pure. For most of our lives, Gen Z hasn't had a lot to look forward to, unless you yearned for the mines, I guess. Those kids hit the jackpot when Minecraft came along. The threats posed by climate change, the housing crisis, and anything and everything else that's on the news right now just make the future seem hopeless. A lot of these things have been talked about since before Gen Z even were able to process these things. This forces them to turn to the past for comfort. This phenomenon really applies to all generations, but our third and final theory really narrows in on why it's affecting younger generations more intensely. The idea for this video came to me when I was scrolling through Instagram Reels. Now I know what you're thinking. Those Reels must have been so bad that it had me fearing for the future. Not this time. My feed began to show me montages of old products and their packaging, old games, and Christmas in the classroom. The more I felt that bittersweet nostalgia, the more I scrolled. And that's when I realized, this is a shoo-in for the algorithm. With each nostalgic TikTok, a hole inside of you widens, and you keep scrolling and scrolling, trying to fill it. This spiral into the past is so addicting, but it plants a seed in your head. Things used to be so much better. So you seek it out more and more, trying to get that feeling that you had when you were a kid one more time. Creators have gotten really good at evoking this feeling, but companies are getting wise to it too. Some companies are going decades back, trying to cultivate this feeling of nostalgia with old menu items, bringing them back, and maybe putting a twist on them. But some companies, especially video games, are able to create a sense of nostalgia for things that happened 5 or less years ago. World of Warcraft Classic, Old School RuneScape, Taco Bell, Apex Legends Classic, what do they call it? Apex Legends Launch Royale, McDonald's, Fortnite OG, Overwatch Classic. The list goes on. It's really easy for these companies to get a marketing win with these times that were remembered so fondly. I mean, if you ask anyone what the best time in all of human history is, they would say the first 3 seasons of Fortnite, or maybe the first 5. 5 was pretty good. It was pretty good. That was maybe the best time in history, I can agree. These companies just have to re-release old products. No R&D, no work, pure profit. It's simultaneously lazy and a no-brainer. It's free money. And while something like Old School RuneScape is just definitively a better version of the game than what we have today, there are other examples that I think are a little more interesting. For example, completely related. I've been playing Fortnite OG for the last couple of days, and I've kind of had this feeling that it's not as good as I remember. Don't get me wrong, there are some things about that time that I absolutely miss, and I still love that map. But there are also some things that I just don't miss. There's no shield, no mobility, the damage to builds is too high, and there's too much bloom on all the weapons. Sorry, had to get that off my chest. The point is, even if you're on or off of social media, there's a preying feeling from all of these companies on our longing for the past. Cashing in on our nostalgia and then trying to rekindle that same feeling over and over again. It's inescapable. I mean, this is like the 3rd or 4th time that Fortnite has done the OG thing. Just saying, they're gonna do it forever. It's free money. So you might be thinking that I'm making a big deal out of nothing. Who cares if there's a little nostalgia here or there? Well, in my opinion, nostalgia is not a great thing to be seeking out. I mean, hey, I'm losing you again, aren't I? Get back here. Listen, I know it's tough out there, but turning to nostalgia is dangerous. I'm sure you felt it too. You just finished scrolling through nostalgia TikToks, and you feel all warm and fuzzy. At first, almost immediately, it's replaced with this sad, longing feeling. Why can't things be that pure again? That simple? The truth of the matter is, they never were. If you think hard enough about it, you would know deep down that it's true. So just step back this way, back to the here and now. Here, I'll prove it to you by showing you my own nostalgia montage. Good, you're back. Don't get me wrong, I understand. There are some feelings that I feel like I will never feel again in my life that I wish I could. But there's also plenty of things that we now see with rose-colored glasses. No time is perfect, and there's always something to cherish. I'm sure in 5 years, we'll be watching montages of Marvel Rivals, Dress to Impress, and Baja Blast Gelato. Just take each day at face value. And don't just remember the good. Remember the bad too. That didn't really come across as hopeful as I wanted it to. I'm just trying to say to remember the good times now and the bad times then. Still didn't really come across the best.